So Pokedex entries, we know them, we love them. Some of them are just completely ridiculous. Some of them are downright terrifying. You know, Hypno kidnapping children after he's hypnotized them. Pokemon World is not a place where you'd actually want to live. It's full of scary creatures, and you could be sliced in half just taking a walk through the forest by a freaking Scyther passing by. So it's a scary, scary place. However, the Pokedex entries sometimes don't make a lot of sense because, you know, it could just be hearsay about, oh, I heard this once. But here are some the 20 most ridiculous Pokemon Pokedex entries that can't possibly be true. And of course, they show Spoink. Of course, you know the Pokedex entry saying that, you know, if Spoink, you know, it has to keep bouncing to keep its heart going, and if it stops bouncing, it dies. I mean, do we believe that? I mean, it could be possible. You know, it's like a hummingbird type thing. You know, with you know, they're using so much energy, and there's a mouse, or like a mouse that kind of has to, you know, keep going and eating and this and that because, you know, if but Macargo's body is hotter than the sun. Macargo's body temperature is approximately 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This is all in the Pokedex. Water is vaporized on contact. If this Pokemon is caught in the rain, the raindrops instantly turn to steam, cloaking the area in a thick fog. If it's hard to conceptualize what 18,000 degrees means, here's a reference point. The sun's surface is 9,941 degrees Fahrenheit. So according to Pokemon, a little lava snail is twice as hot as the sun. Yeah, how doesn't... Yeah, the sun alone, the sun can, if it heats up too much, it can destroy Earth. So if Macargo truly is 18,000 degrees, then the presence of just one Macargo can evaporate and just annihilate everything on Earth due to the intense heat. I mean, think of how far the sun is away from us, right? And you have solar flares and stuff like that lashing out. That affects our atmosphere, and we basically have a Pokemon here twice as hot as the sun right here on Earth. What do you think that's going to do to the planet? It doesn't have to go anywhere to evaporate rain and water and all this. It can just stay where it is because apparently it's so hot that the heat's going to radiate out. And at the very most, if it is condensed, it's just going to burn a hole straight through the Earth. So yeah, I don't think that. I think this, you know, I don't know where people in the Pokemon world get their information from. You know, because I mean, they give like, oh yeah, here kid, here's a Pokedex. You know, I want you to go find all these Pokemon and record. So these like, yeah, it's like I caught a Macargo and it's like a cajillion degrees. It's really hot. And you know, it could like probably destroy everyone because it's so hot. That's pretty much, I think, the gist of it. Ponyta can jump over the Eiffel Tower. Capable of jumping over the Eiffel Tower in a single giant leap. Its hooves are 10 times harder than diamonds. The Eiffel Tower is 1,063 feet tall. So the idea of a 3'3" horse being able to clear it in one leap is kind of a lot. We're also still scratching our heads about why the Eiffel Tower even exists in the Pokemon world. Yeah, I mean, we know where the Eiffel Tower would be, but then there's the thing about the hooves. While it's true that there are harder substances than diamonds in the real world, nothing exists that's 10 times harder. But I mean, plain devil's advocate here. It's the Pokemon world. So this is a world where creatures, you're riding a flame horse. So I don't think it's too hard to believe where you have the Reggies, like physical incarnations of like metal, ice, and rock. I'm pretty sure there might be something on that planet that's 10 times harder than diamonds. But that's just a wild. I mean, we're talking about riding a flaming horse. So, but yeah, I don't think it could leap the Eiffel Tower. Now, if you want to say that maybe Rapidash can do that, I still doubt it. Again, I think it sounds like, at least this part right here sounds like something a kid would, something a kid would say. It's like, so it runs really fast and can jump high. How far can, how high can it jump? Oh, it could like leap over the Eiffel Tower. Okay, we can leap over the Eiffel Tower. No reason to test it. I mean, have they actually tested this? I would love to know from Pokemon. In the Pokemon world in the past, were there people who tested this? About people who went to the Eiffel Tower and tried to leap over the thing with a ponytail? Geodude is used as a snowball. I totally believe that. How many times have you done a snowball fight and thrown just what you thought was an innocent snowball, only to find that it had a rock in it? Well, you're outside, you pick up a big clump of snow that you think is just snow, and you hurl it at someone, and you find out it was just a sleeping Geodude. A sleeping Geodude who's like, curled up, and it was covered in snow. So its round form is easy to pick up. Some people have used them to hurl at each other in a snowball fight. I mean, if you're purposely just picking up Geodudes intentionally to throw them at each other, that's kind of hardcore. But yeah, if you're outside and you're in a mountainous region, there's going to be a lot of Gravelers, a lot of Golem, a lot of Geodudes within that range. So you're playing this mountainous region with your friends, and you pick up what looks like a snowball and you throw it, and it turns out to be a Geodude. I can see it. It's not that far-fetched. Far-fetched? Kadabra used to be a psychic kid. It happened one morning. A boy with extrasensory powers awoke in bed, transformed into a Kadabra. I wouldn't be surprised. Apparently, in the Pokemon universe, Pokemon and humans weren't so different, that apparently humans kind of from Pokemon at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised if a person who had some kind of latent psychic powers mixed with a little bit of Pokemon DNA that's still in there caused them to sort of transform into a Kadabra. I wouldn't be surprised. It's not like people haven't transformed into Pokemon before. Bill, who accidentally turned himself into one during a scientific experiment. Yeah. Yeah, Bill in the game, he actually turned himself into a Pokemon. It's not like Bill in the anime, he's like, "Oh, can you help me get this suit off? I got stuck in here after a party and now I can't get out." No, like Bill in the game actually turned himself into a Pokemon. He still retained his, thought process and all that, but he turned himself into a Pokemon. So, yeah, of course he did it with a machine. This apparently just happened to a kid, like, "Oh, hey, yeah, good night, Mom, good night, Dad. Snoozy, snoozeland. Oh, it was great to be a Pokemon trainer. Holy shit, I'm a Kadabra." But considering where they said that Pokemon and humans, came from, I mean, after all, Arceus is apparently the basic god of all things in the universe. He's the god of the Pokemon universe, so everything kind of stems from him. So yeah, I can see a kid waking up as a Pokemon. Even though Bill needed one to a machine to do it, I can totally see a person just waking up as a Pokemon. Magikarp can leap over mountains. No. Magikarp can barely splash. Come on. Now, maybe in the distant past, they said that Magikarp used to be a lot different. I still don't believe they were able to leap over mountains. Come on. No. The Magikarp of, the current day, you see them and it's like, even in water, they're pretty much useless. A Magikarp living for many years can leap a mountain using Splash. The move remains, well, then they can't leap over mountains because you said Splash is useless. With enough practice, Magikarp can scale a freaking mountain using a move that does no damage at all in the games. This sounds pretty implausible, but if true, it seems unfair to call Splash useless. It's no, they're not jumping over any mountains. Here we go, Spoink. Spoink bounces around on its tail. The shock of its bouncing makes its heart pump. As a result, this Pokemon cannot afford to stop bouncing. If it stops, its heart will stop, meaning it will die. Can Spoink bounce in its sleep? I mean, okay, when you put it like that, maybe it's like a, it's like a stasis or, hibernation where even when it sleeps, it still kind of bounces a little bit just to make sure that its heart keeps going. Because I don't think they've ever shown a Spoink sleeping. But I would assume, it's kind of like they just stand like that and they just, they close their eyes and they relax and they just keep slowly bouncing. It says they don't have to, all the way down, just bouncing enough to keep their heart going. So, but then if you feel bad because you see a Spoink and it's bouncing and you knock it over, guess what? You've just killed a poor Spoink. What about all the times it stopped bouncing in the anime and was totally fine? The silly Pokedex entry can't possibly be true. Has it? I haven't seen all the Pokemon episodes, so I have no idea. Has it been shown to be, stationary in an episode? But I mean, if this was true, I would imagine it would just like slowly continue to bounce as it was sleeping. Not enough to kind of disturb it, but enough just to keep its heart pumping. Still a stupid dex entry though. Igglybuff bounces forever. It has a soft and bouncy body. Once it starts bouncing, it becomes impossible to stop. Yes, I'm sure the Pokemon that weighs like less than a pound is impossible to stop once it starts bouncing. Maybe, again, if you're some stupid child. I tried to stop my Igglybuff from bouncing, and I couldn't. It was going all over the place. It was going so high, I couldn't stop it. It was impossible. Meanwhile, any other normal adult goes over to it, or return, but they weigh like less than a pound. So I don't think they'd be, impossible to stop bouncing. Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. Primeape needs to calm down. It has been known to become so angry that it dies as a result. Its face looks peaceful in death, however. And then this is the blood vessels in its brain are sturdier than those of any other Pokemon. So it can stay healthy despite its. Wait, yeah, that is a contradiction. Because if it's stronger, then being a little mad, getting known so angry that it dies, yeah, that's ridiculous. Eevee takes on its trainer's appearance. Its genes are easily influenced by its surroundings. Even its face starts to look like that of its trainer. I mean, maybe in the anime. I mean, because it's just like a cute little thing. Like, oh my god, look at the Eevee. It looks like its trainer. It's kind of like how they made Pikachu kind of act more like Ash and all that. It's just what happens when you have the Pokemon for so long. It kind of takes on some of your personality traits and it'll purposely try to look like you. But I don't think, as crazy as Eevee is, and amazing as Eevee is, being able to evolve into, let's see, Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon, Umbreon, Espeon, Glaceon, Leafeon, Sylveon. Did I miss anyone? I feel like I missed someone. I said Glaceon, Sylveon, the Leafeon. Yeah, out of like what, 8, 9 evolutions? That's insane. More evolutions than any other Pokemon. So It's not like a Ditto where it's going to do like a full transformation, but I think if you have an Eevee long enough, it might try to, force its genes to look more like the person it admires. So, maybe. Oh yeah, I like this one. Gardevoir creates black holes. To protect its trainer, it will expend all its psychic energy to create a small black hole. Apparently, a black hole on Earth, like a small black hole, wouldn't actually do a whole lot of damage. But it's still pretty devastating. But I don't think they're saying a black hole, meaning they could possibly create a hole that is black, but I don't think it would pretty much have the same properties as a black hole. In order to do that, the amount of psychic, like Gardevoir are strong psychic types, but I don't think even Mewtwo giving up his psychic abilities could create a black hole that powerful. And Mewtwo's fucking powerful. And I don't even think he could do that. So it's, again, sounds like something that a kid saw and probably sucked in a few things like, oh my god! People use Daramaka's droppings to keep them. I totally believe that. Especially like back in the day in the ancient Pokemon world. Yeah, I totally believe that. I mean, think about it this way. There are people, there's countries that we use a certain thing, droppings, as for coffee. So yeah, I totally believe that Daramaka's thing. Yeah, I totally believe that, because here in the real world we use animal, droppings for coffee. So if in the real world we're taking something and making that into something we ingest, using Daramaka's droppings because they're hot to keep your, put by and make yourself, so you can stay warm, I totally believe that. Tyranitar destroys the landscape. Well, considering that he's based on Godzilla, I mean, I believe it. Tyranitar is like 100 Godzillas. Yeah, he's like 100 or maybe he's just one Godzilla in a smaller package. It's somehow capable of eating mountains. I don't think it means mountains all at once. Like, you're not going to see a Larvitar just its tiny little mouth open up like freaking Kirby and just like suddenly swallow. No, it could eat mountains, as in it could actually survive off the mountain, like literally survive off the mountain, like eating the mountain. But yeah, I don't think it's going to destroy that much. Again, sounds like something a kid made. Jet planes can't harm Metang. It floats midair using magnetism. Its body is so tough, even a crash with a jet plane won't leave a scratch. I wouldn't be surprised, because I'm sure the metal on its body is probably a lot harder than the, aluminum or whatever the freaking planes are made out of. Yeah, that'll go through it like butter. It will go through that like butter. So Alolan Raichu evolved because of pancakes. It loves pancakes prepared with a secret Alolan recipe. Some wonder whether the recipe holds the key to this Pokemon's evolution. What ingredient caused this? Yeah. Like, we know in the Pokemon world they use berries and other stuff like that. Certain other parts of other Pokemon, you have like Farfetch and his leek. You have like Applin, stuff like that in Paldea. You have other, those types of Pokemon where people kind of use parts of them and or just outright eat them. So maybe, I mean, this one is kind of an odd one. With a secret Alolan recipe. Can Pikachu, who aren't from the Alola region, whose trainers whip up some best special pancakes? Possibly. I think it would have to do with some kind of ingredient from Alola. So if you have a Kanto Pikachu and you use these ingredients, you make these Alolan pancakes as they are, with all the ingredients, including this apparent secret ingredient. I don't think it would be so hard to believe that maybe it would cause some chemical genetic mutation, you know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Alakazam's IQ is off the charts. Said to have an IQ of approximately 5,000. Its overflowing psychokinetic powers cause headaches to anyone nearby. A 5,000 IQ is, to put it bluntly, totally impossible. Again, this is the Pokemon world. And while, yes, you know, it seems like, again, we're riding flaming horses and, you know, there's things that survive on eating rocks. And, you know, a Pokemon that has like 8 different evolutions and, you know, the alphabet. So is it impossible to think that a psychic Pokemon has an IQ that high? No. But I mean, maybe if it's not 5,000, I still think it's pretty damn high. So I think, yes, it's not 5,000, but I think it's far higher than any other person on this planet could possibly ever hope to achieve. So even if you said like, let's see, 160, even if you put him like 200, maybe 300, that's still impressive. Yveltal will destroy the entire universe. No, but apparently when it's reborn or when it goes back into it's like life's it like sucks in all the life around it. So yeah, so it's not going to destroy the universe. When its life comes to an end, it absorbs the life energy of every living thing and turns into cocoon once more. Now, I think there's another entry that says just from the surrounding area, from like surrounding life. So it's not going to destroy the world, it just destroys the area. I love this one. Drampa the Grandpa will burn your house down. If a child it has made friends with is bully, Drampa will find the bully's house and burn it to the ground. That is so hardcore and badass. The gentle dragon Pokemon is said to be good with kids that parents can easily trust it to watch their young children. But God help any child who messes with one of Drampa's. Why is it still concerned of burning people's? Yeah. I mean, again, that sounds like something a kid would say. You know, yeah. It's like, and I don't even think that Drampa, if it did, I don't think the Drampa did it from on its own free will. I think the kid was like, Drampa, I want you to go burn that kid's house down. They're like outside the house. They're like, Drampa used flamethrower. Oh my God, Drampa, you burned the kid's house down. He was my bully and he was bullying. Look at him. He burned the kid's house down. And people standing by like, oh my God, Drampa will burn people's houses down? Oh, we got to get this to the Pokemon professors. This is why you don't hand a Pokedex and expect kids to, you know, record things, because they're going to make things up. Klefki jingles his keys menacingly. It's just jingling his keys menacingly. Klefki isn't exactly the strongest Pokemon, so it may not have any other means of self-defense at its disposal. How does one jingle their keys menacingly? Okay, wait. Oh, weird, Foxy. Where's Foxy? I just noticed Foxy's not here. Okay, well, I'm sad. I had that thing since like 2015. It was like a little Foxy plush thing. But either way, how does one jingle their keys menacingly? Like that? Because I don't just see that being menacing. I don't. So how does one jingle keys menacingly? So maybe it just shakes itself harder, or maybe it clanks keys around to give off a loud sound. I don't know. Seeking has an intense fandom. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Look at the guy in the freaking uh where was it? Vermilion City? The Ponyta guy who just goes on about freaking Ponyta and how amazing it is. I believe it. Swablu. For some reason, it likes to land on people's heads. Oh. For some reason, it likes to land on people's heads softly and act like a hat. While the image is beyond adorable, practically speaking, it would be pretty uncomfortable. Imagine having bird feet digging into your head all day. I don't think it would be that bad. Swablu itself isn't that heavy. Alright, it says here Swablu is 2.6 pounds. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but I don't think having Swablu on your head would really be that much of a problem. And during rainy days, it could just, with its wings, and just kind of help your own little umbrella. Your sweet little, fluffy, adorable blue umbrella. Now, again, when nature calls it, yeah, I can imagine that. That would be probably bad, but uh, you know, it's again, you have to take inspiration from real life. There are some animals that if you're sitting there, they will just come up and just sit down on you. You know, cats do it, but even in the wild, you know, you see people sitting there and you have like butterflies landing on them. So you see a swablu or even your own swablu just perches on your head. I can see it. And again, it probably happened to some kid and like, oh my god. I don't think these are adults making these Pokedex entries. I think it's mostly kids. But I see it. Not everyone, because not everyone has Swablu, and Swablu are just like every other Pokemon, just like any other living being. It has its own personality, and maybe that some might want to sit on your head, some others don't. So, but yeah, those were 20 ridiculous Pokedex entries. If you guys know any others, let me know. But again, it's some things, as ridiculous as it sounds, you know, you're riding a flaming horse. So imagining something that's harder than diamond, you know, 10 times harder than diamonds or something like that's a little more believable. Um, you know, Alakazam's IQ or a kid waking up as a Kadabra, that's far more believable because again, look at the world they're living in. So, but yeah, let me know if you guys can think of any more ridiculous Pokemon entries. Yeah, leave them below. But that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.